Brought to you by Thomas Allgaier and Frennis, this edition highlights key LinkedIn posts on commercial fleets in weeks 46 and 47. Frennis supports automotive enterprises and consultancies with market, customer, and competitive intelligence in the commercial fleet sector, with a strong focus on digital solutions and emerging technologies.
Welcome to the deep dive. Our mission, as always, is to give you that shortcut to being truly well-informed.
And today, we're definitely cutting through the chatter. We've been looking at professional channels over the last 2 weeks, zeroing in on the top trends in commercial fleets.
Yeah, and the sources are really clear. The conversation has shifted. It's not if fleets are transforming, but how they're executing it.
And 3 things really jumped out.
The acceleration of electrification, the huge infrastructure challenges that are, bottlenecking the whole thing, and, well, the sudden and really rapid deployment of AI. It's everywhere.
Absolutely. We've pulled the most impactful insights, all shared by C-level leaders and experts on LinkedIn. So for you listening, this is about getting those actionable facts and figures.
Right. It's about understanding what's driving investment and decisions in the mobility industry, like right now.
So let's jump in.
Let's do it. And we have to start where all transformation really begins, the economics.
Okay, let's unpack this. Our first major theme is the electrification transition. And, the one concept that just keeps coming up over and over is that total cost of ownership, TCO, is king.
It is. The big takeaway is that electrification, well, it's not a pilot project anymore. It's moving into full-scale rollout.
Because the numbers finally work.
They're more than working. The TCO case is just too favorable to ignore now.
In some cases, it's almost compulsory.
It really is. Tony Neeson highlighted just a staggering example with yard spotters. He projected that switching from a diesel spotter to an electric one saves an estimated $500,000.
Wait, $500,000? Per truck?
Per truck, over 10 years.
That's a figure that just flips the script completely. It almost makes that high initial cost irrelevant. So what's driving a number like that?
Well, the sources break it down into 2 main buckets. First, you've got a 90% reduction in fuel costs.
90%.
And second, a 50% cut in maintenance. Fewer moving parts, less thermal stress.
Right.
And Tony Neeson noted this means ROI parity is achievable in, 2 to 3 years?
Or even day one if you're smart about the incentives.
Exactly. If you factor in local and national incentives, it can be immediate. And that's why fleets are so motivated to move right now.
And it's not just the bottom line pushing this, is it? Policy signals are really hardening that demand globally.
For sure. Carolyn Piper pointed to the Netherlands. They're aiming to ban new combustion car registrations by 2030.
And when a major trading partner does that, it forces everyone else to start planning for a large-scale fleet transformation immediately.
But that policy pressure, it creates friction, right? The sources note this rapid shift means massive investment needs and real concerns about electricity supply shortages.
You're forcing the grid to adapt at breakneck speed.
Speaking of speed, that global adoption comparison is pretty eye-opening.
Oh, yeah. Jamie Scar highlighted this huge global gap. China's electrification rate hit 30%.
And they're electrifying 9 times faster than the U.S. and Europe combined. They're sitting at around 22 and 21%. It's an enormous disparity.
So what's behind that? What's the difference maker?
What's fascinating, and what Jamie Scar really emphasized, is that it's not about the technology. It's about execution friction and infrastructure strategy.
So a different mindset.
Completely. China treated electrification as national infrastructure. They just removed deployment barriers. Meanwhile, the West often just layered on more regulations without coordinating the grid transformation.
Which leads to a kind of competitive paralysis, especially in logistics.
That inefficiency just compounds so quickly. Now, we know heavy-duty long haul is still a challenge, but we are seeing some smart transitional solutions.
Like what Christopher Aford highlighted with BMW.
Exactly. Their pragmatic decision to fuel new diesel vehicles with HVO 100 renewable diesel. It's not zero emission, but it's scalable right now and cuts life cycle KROs by up to 90%.
It just affirms that we need diverse pathways to decarbonization, things that are available today.
And that's a perfect bridge to our second theme. Because that favorable TCO case we just talked about, it completely crumbles if you can't get power into the vehicle.
Which brings us to charging and energy infrastructure, the bottleneck and the solutions.
This is the primary hurdle. Charging access, power availability, especially for heavy-duty fleets that need megawatt charging.
And the real issue, as we're learning, isn't whether the tech exists to charge a big truck.
Exactly. Jan Koster was so clear on this. The challenge for fleets isn't the charger technology. It's intelligent energy management.
So what happens when 50 trucks plug in at 5 p.m.?
That's the problem. You need intelligent load management to avoid overloading the depot or, triggering massive fees from peak demand spikes. You're basically managing an energy island, not just a plug.
And the physical infrastructure is lagging way behind the vehicles.
Dramatically. Tyler Philippi noted that vehicles are often arriving long before the chargers are even energized.
Because of those utility interconnection delays, 18 to 24 months.
Yeah. That lag is an existential risk for a fleet that's bet big on going electric.
So how are fleets supposed to operate with that kind of uncertainty?
Well, this is where we're seeing AI step in to provide some foresight. David Piperno and Joshua Aviv recently highlighted Spark Charge's Spark AI platform.
An AI-driven tool that gives you optimized infrastructure plans in under 60 seconds? That's a huge shift.
That speed is incredible.
But what is it actually doing that a traditional consultant couldn't, besides just doing it faster?
It's optimizing for complexity. It can factor in hybrid and off-grid charging systems instantly. And by doing that strategic planning up front, they project it can cut infrastructure and operating costs by 15 to 30%.
It's about using every available kilowatt hour as efficiently as possible.
And that leads right into operations. Marcus Kroger detailed a successful playbook, integrating charge planning with electric-aware routing.
So the routing engine knows where the cheap power is.
Exactly. It knows where power is available and at what price, and that lets operators fully exploit their grid limits. Marcus Kroger observed this can push average energy costs below 20 cents per kilowatt hour.
And in a razor-thin margin industry like road freight, that is an unbelievable competitive advantage. That redefines who wins.
We also have to acknowledge the scale challenge for heavy duty. Gergana Ivanova emphasized that fleet charging demands non-negotiable reliability.
Which is driving the need for the megawatt charging standard, or MCS.
Right, and it's fundamentally reshaping all the hardware partnerships. The targets here are just immense.
Rodion Borokovich cited a study estimating the EU will need up to 5,300 of these ultra-fast megawatt chargers by 2030.
Just for the long-haul segment. That requires massive coordinated investment right now.
This constant push for efficiency brings us to theme 3. Software and AI orchestrating the fleet. I mean, the consensus is that digital solutions are the central nervous system now.
They're not a luxury anymore. And AI is the tool that's automating workflows and converting all that overwhelming telematics noise into measurable improvement.
It's about solving process friction, not just analyzing data after the fact.
That's it. Juro K realized that the big efficiency issues often came from drivers and managers just drowning in repetitive manual tasks.
And that's where AI can lift the weight. Vlad Chorny detailed how Trimble Transportation is tackling this with a new AI-powered TMS.
Yeah, they introduced features like an order intake agent and an AI road call agent.
Okay, so what do these automated agents actually do?
Well, the order intake agent uses AI to automatically process all that complex order paperwork and get it into the system. It cuts down on manual entry, errors, and time.
And the road call agent?
It takes those high-stress, unpredictable breakdown calls and handles them automatically. It triages the issue, dispatches resources, all without a human needing to step in.
So you reduce stress and you speed up the response time. We also saw some examples of just massive quick ROI when this data is used correctly.
Oh, yeah. Daniel Dungan's team helped a global fleet operator cut their analytic cycles from 15 days down to just 6 hours.
15 days to 6 hours.
And that velocity is why speed equals money here.
Yeah.
That 6-hour cycle unlocked a projected $100 million in EBITDA improvement.
$100 million. That's a direct line from real-time data to massive financial performance.
But for the data to be that powerful, everyone has to be able to use it, not just the data scientists.
Right. And Chris Dunker and Brian Rassa highlighted Motive's new AI Answers feature. It lets teams just ask plain language questions to the data.
How can we improve fuel efficiency on this route?
And you get an immediate insight. That's a game changer.
It democratizes the data. It's essential. And in a similar way, Farhad Baba Khan highlighted Blue Dot Fleet OS's Blue E.Voice. It's designed to automate issue triaging.
What's the impact there?
They estimate that for a large fleet, you could save about 14 hours of a manager's time every week. That's just pure operational efficiency.
Now let's switch gears from efficiency to existential risk. Theme 4, safety, compliance, and risk prevention. The whole discussion has moved to AI being predictive, not just reactive.
The results are dramatic, and they really speak for themselves. The Samsara Safety Report, which Johan Land and Sanjeet Biswas cited, showed customers using their full AI safety solution saw a 35 to 40% drop in crashes.
That's initially.
Initially. And crucially, that improved to nearly 75% over 30 months.
A 75% reduction in crashes over 2.5 years. I mean, that single data point completely changes the insurance liability picture for a fleet.
It moves the focus to proactive intervention. Stephen White explained that AI, combined with telematics platforms like Geotab, uses predictive analytics based on driver behavior.
Things like harsh braking, speeding trends.
Exactly. To identify the high-risk drivers for targeted coaching.
And targeted is the key word there. You're moving away from expensive general training to focused intervention before an accident happens.
And we're seeing new features that target the absolute earliest signs of risk. Eliezer Body introduced an AI-powered lane swerving detection feature.
Designed specifically to spot the clearest signs of fatigue and distraction.
Right. And on the regulatory side, compliance is becoming its own dedicated product domain. Brendan Hill introduced ATA's new dynamic risk capability, signaling sustained investment in this through 25 and 26.
And Janice Chang highlighted Samsara's smart compliance launch, which included a key partnership with VDO Fleet,
the largest tachograph manufacturer in the EU. That partnership integrates that critical European compliance data directly into the software. It makes compliance automatic, not a manual checklist.
Okay, so our final theme, partnerships and ecosystem consolidation, really ties all of this together. The complexity of it all has made the fragmented market pretty unsustainable, hasn't it?
It really has. That fragmentation, or what Alok Dubey rightly called charging chaos, is the biggest barrier to scaling. Companies have realized they just can't build and manage all these systems on their own.
The vehicles, the grid connections, the hardware, the software.
It's too much. So we saw key examples of charging ecosystems forming to fix this. Monta partnered with Octopus Electroverse.
Right, to create a unified system for UK fleets, spanning home, depot, and public charging.
Trying to bring a single user experience to that charging multiverse.
And in the heavy-duty sector, we saw the Flexus joint venture Renault, Volvo, and CMA CGM partnering with Ampico.
And Zura Prezzuliani noted that lets them integrate charging operations directly with vehicle telematics. It simplifies that whole complex process into one streamlined offering.
We also saw major investment in the enablers. Michael W. Nimch reported the European Investment Bank put 25 million euros into Trailer Dynamics for their e-trailer tech.
And this isn't a truck, it's a trailer. But the impact is massive. It's a game changer for viability.
How so?
That tech cuts fuel consumption by 40% for diesel trucks, and critically, it can boost an electric truck's range up to an astounding 700 kilometers.
That confirms serious money is flowing to the tech that solves range and economic anxiety.
Absolutely. And lastly, data integration. David Fish highlighted Ford's strategy of providing that OEM-rich telematics data via embedded modems.
They're engineering vehicles for easy upfit.
Which aligns perfectly with what Rob Mitten observed. Automakers are successfully monetizing data by targeting business operational needs through partnerships, like with Geotab.
Businesses are proving they will pay a premium for that rich, integrated data that drives real value.
It's the mechanism that makes all these other trends viable. TCO savings, crash prevention, optimized routing, it all runs on that data.
If you enjoyed this deep dive, new episodes drop every 2 weeks. Also check out our other editions on electrification and battery technology, future mobility and market evolution, and next-gen vehicle intelligence.
You know, we've seen the industry shift from pilots to full scale, supported by clear TCO and sophisticated AI. But thinking back to a point Tom Edwards made about the skills shift, the real constraint moving forward won't be technology or TCO or even capital. It's competence.
The people.
The people.
Yeah.
The future mobility needs professionals who get systems data, integrations, infrastructure, the full user journey. It's about moving beyond just vehicle-centric thinking to system-level fleet transformation. And that skills gap.
Yeah.
That might be the hardest bottleneck of all to solve.
A vital thought for anyone managing talent in this space. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into the latest commercial fleet intelligence. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss our next episode.